Hello and welcome. You are listening to episode 89 of the Nearly Men Video Games Podcast, coming to you live on Twitch from Scotland on Thursday, the 10th of June, 2021. My name is Paul Kaczynski, and joining me today is Blunderboy87. Jeez Louise. And of course, Colin Little as well.
Ahoy, hoy.
Together we are the Nearly Men, and this episode of the podcast is brought to you by executive producer Hamster Boy. Mr. Producer. We have nothing to do with the video games industry. We do not make them, we do not sell them, and we're not even particularly good at them. At some point you have probably kicked our asses online because we are the Nearly Men. Right, Blunder Boy, what are you laughing at? What are you laughing at? He's actually muted himself. You've muted yourself.
No, I've not.
There you go. There you are.
Right. I didn't mute myself. when it did the intro video, when it came to your face, you were behind it. Your green screen did something, so there was real time you like behind normal video you. So I buckled at that, and I was like, why? I was like. I'm howling.
I did wonder that. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Why was that like that?
It was the strangest but funniest thing ever.
One for the VOD, people. One for the VOD. Welcome, everyone. This is episode 89. 89!
Wow.
Can you believe that? It's already June 2021, just in case you were wondering. Ladies and gentlemen, it's lovely to see you. How are you? Blunder Boy. Nice to see you. You're
nice
looking a bit. Your hair's settled for those that are the audio listeners. You can't see the Blonder Boy, but his hair is really settled and it's looking nice.
Interestingly, it was going a bit coppery. It was going a bit like yellowy, so I went and bought some shampoo, kind of violet shampoo today, and it's brought it up really nice, back to that nice blondie, actual realistic looking. So
it's very nice.
Also,
nice.
I noticed in the VOD I'm red and when I'm blonde, no one's ever going to know what colour my hair really is.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
And of course, we've got Colin Little here as well. Hello, Colin.
Wait, hello.
Colin's knackered, just to let you know.
Knackered, a little bit spaced, and off mic, thankfully. Before podcast, I've managed to offend just about everybody just by talking absolute nonsense and not making any sense. So I will endeavour over the next hour or so to not get us cancelled.
Aye. He's going to try his best. There's no guarantees.
I make no promises. No promises at all.
Get ready with your little time cues for editing.
Don't. I've not got the time. I do not have the time.
We need the dump button, you know, in the radio, the dump out button, like, but we need to start building up a delay so that if I say something, Paul could just go, yeah.
Well, it's lovely to see you, boys.
Nice to be here.
And here we are. We're about, as always, the podcast falls in the fraction second before E3 kicks off. So we don't actually we will be well behind with the E3 news, but it's lovely because it gets you that fortnight to kind of ingest it and sum it up a wee bit, doesn't it? But we love people getting in touch. People have got in touch with what they're excited about E3, and if you want to get in touch with the podcast, this is how you do it, baby.
Reaching the Nearly Men is easier than ever. Search for the Nearly Men Video Games Podcast on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or your preferred podcast player. We stream on Twitch. Follow Colin at Colin_NM. Follow Paul at Paul Kaczynski, all one word. Follow Gary at Blunderboy87. And let's get social on Facebook as The Nearly Men, Twitter and Instagram where we are at Nearly Men, or go old school and email us on info@thenearlymen.com. Need all that again? Links are on our website, thenearlymen.com. So what are you waiting for?
Yeah, baby, what are you waiting for? Drop us a line, let us know what's what. Since we podcasted last time, gentlemen, there was a Nearly Men event hosted, impeccably well, we have to say, by the wonderful Blunderboy. Blunderboy, you took us on a wee Dead by Daylight tour, didn't you?
I did. We did a little invitational tournament to tread the waters to see how it would work. Now, I must state, Dead by Daylight is not an esport in the sense that it's hard to play it professionally, but you will get people out there who are like, oh no, it can be an esport and it can be professional. Our tournament was strictly friendly terms. there was prizes, but it was very much in the jest of good humour and competitiveness, but not in an esport way.
It was very friendly. It was it was comfortable, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was lots of fun, and it was a good night, and surprising top 5, and surprising top 10. We all thought that Paul and Colin were going to be the bottom of the heap, and we were only 50% correct. I'll go through the top 10 actually. It's a quick second.
Oh, nice.
So of course it was both Paul and Colin playing. I was hosting because it was unfair for me to play because I'm so good at the game.
Exactly.
Everyone
would be calling it fix. You know what I mean?
Really not. Diet Punk's shot up the ranks. He's a red rank 4 now.
I was very impressed with Diet Punk. I thought Diet Punk would be enthusiastic and better than me. I did not think Diet Punk was going to be as good as Diet Punk was. I was very impressed.
Diet Punk went full Michael Myers. But our top 10, and 10th place was Paul Kaczynski, but it was close. Well done. Wooden spin for Mr. Kaczynski. And 9th place was Queen of the North.
Queen of the North.
Wait a minute.
Queen of the North. But
Queen of the North.
But Colin and I were going to be bottom. I think that's what everybody said. I think everybody said
that we were just going to prop up the table and embarrass ourselves. We were just there to make up the numbers. That's what they said.
But no, in 8th place, Colin _NM.
But
that was way to victory.
I mean, I will take that 8th place. That'll do.
What does it mean? What does it mean in like when you're doing a table like this? What does it mean again when someone's name's above someone else's? What does that mean again?
I think it means that they bet them.
Oh, but Colin's name was above Queen of the North, and Queen of the North said that wasn't going to. She thought it was going to be the other way about. Did she not?
At least she did, yeah.
There's a lot of smack talk, but I can tell you that Queen of the North and Colin, by a clear 4,000 point difference. It wasn't even marginal, it was a good 4,000 points.
I see Queen of the North's just arrived in chat, just in time for the absolute roasting she's getting.
I'm just riding Colin's wave.
I love it.
Yes. Well, you can ride that wave, mate.
Oh my.
Swift up. So Colin came in 8th place, and then 7th place was Josh Sagwage, just eked out by 404. Now this was where the controversy happened because everyone thought 404 or Josh Sagwage was going to take 5th place. That was the chat. That was like the chat. They were like, it's going to be between those to take 5th place. But MJ Play Games, thanks to some fantastic fashion choices and voted by the viewers,
I felt guilty.
Snuck our way into 5th place.
Because Paolo and I both voted for MJ because it was a fantastic outfit.
It was.
But we didn't realise that we were slitting the throat of our own teammates by doing that because I don't think either we weren't paying attention or Blunder hadn't properly explained it because we would have voted. We would have went full on Eurovision and voted tactically if we had known that.
Listen, it just goes to show that we're not going to stoop to the low levels that barbecue and chilling were doing, and we were voting honestly and not tactically.
I mean, we're better people than.
Is it Colin the one who went? Can we vote for ourselves? Because I'm going to go do that.
It may well have been.
Yes, but
that's different. That's different.
I was voting for my own team. I was voting for me.
Now, the top 5 were the top 5 scorers from across competition. So when they went to the 3rd round, they had their points wiped and started from scratch. I must say, the 3rd round was brutal. I was not expecting the gameplay that I saw. The matches were fast and severe with lots of bloody murder.
Wasn't it half?
I was kind of scared. I was a bit frightened. I was like, oh my gosh. I never knew they had it in them.
I was like a startled little lamb, and I was very relieved, actually. I remember me and Paolo both discussing, because I'm really glad we weren't in that final, because we'd have just got smacked about something awful.
It was brutal. It was a bloodshed. So in 5th place, overall, came MG Play Games. In 4th place, Original Steven. And Original Steven and MG Play Games get a certificate and some Dead by Daylight stickers. As their 1st and 2nd runner-up prizes. In 3rd place, Diet Punk, who gets his bronze trophy and a printout of an artwork of his cover.
Oh,
In second place, Husband, who is husband of MJ Play Games, who gets the silver place trophy, a printout of the killer, and the Resident Evil DLC, which is out on Tuesday.
Ooh.
And then first place, and it was very close, I must say, between the top three. There was only 10,000 points between third and first place. Was a Magic or Die with 89,197 points, who gets the gold trophy, a printout of a killer, and £20 gift voucher for Steam.
What?
Yeah, so now they can go buy stuff. But no, it was great. It was lots of fun, and lots of people were interested in it happening again. So I'll be looking at how we can do it a wee bit differently next time. I think I'll let people select their team and come forward, and we'll do some heats and stuff like that. So it'll be a proper
bring the pain.
Yeah, I think I think the next tournament might be like the third round the whole time.
Oh,
Jesus.
Because people will have something to prove this time. I think they're like, right, we've seen how it started. Let's take it to the next level.
Is there any more space in the commentary bench for me and Paolo?
Tugger McDivitt's going to have to come out for that one.
I just like, and over to my co-host, who, what's your comments? Who just like, oh, it's bloody. It's bloody.
Tugger McDivitt here by the generator in the southwest corner. And I must say, it's a bit of a stramash here. Michael Myers is ragdolling a survivor as we speak. More as we get it. Oh, he's dead. That'd be
What a great time to have by all. Thank you to everyone for taking part. Thank you, boys, for letting it go ahead as a nearly minute agreement. And it's been lots of fun. And
that's great. You did brilliant,
man. Got a nice
honestly.
Outfit out there.
It should be said that Blunderboy, this was all Blunderboy's bag. Me and Colin essentially turned up and played. We didn't do anything at all. Blunderboy did all the work behind it.
Some of us didn't even do that, Paolo.
Oh. I wasn't the worst killer though, was I? Blunderboy, you told me that. That wasn't the
you're
worst
not
killer.
The worst killer. You were
there
not the
we
worst
go.
Killer.
So that's something.
That's good.
Just fucking
your killer was actually very good. I was very impressed with Paul's killer.
Oh, there you go, eh? There you go. Fear me. Fear me.
Actually, Paul was a better killer than Colin.
Well, that goes without saying. Just to be sure, though, Paolo was playing with an easy killer and I was playing with a hard killer. Yeah. Just
that's
to be
not
sure.
on me.
Bing bong's not easy.
Just to be sure.
I would say
Bing bong can be strong.
The game classifies the killers. What
again, it's not
category?
the killer. The category is not the killer. The category is the perks that they use. And if you didn't use their perks, it would not have been that difficult.
Yes, but I was using Michael's perks. What's Bing Bong's thing?
Bing bong can be strong.
Easy, medium, whatever. I don't know what the middle one is.
I don't know. I had the choice of 4 killers or something. Well, well done, Blunderboy, and well done to all the competitors as well. Now, what a great tournament it was, man. Honestly, you did really, really well, buddy.
It was lots of fun. It was so much fun to do.
It was great. It genuinely was brilliant. I mean, it's no surprise to anyone that Paolo and I were both not necessarily hugely looking forward to it because we're not great at the game and it's not really our game. But I genuinely had so much fun playing it with some just fabulous people and just everybody. You could just tell that they just all really loved the game and just were really good at it. And it got both Paolo and I. And it was amazing how into it the community got in the chat, even people that weren't really into the game and were really enjoying it. And it genuinely, was like, I don't think it would really work as a proper esport. No. I don't think the game's balanced well enough for that sort of thing.
Absolutely not.
But it has that sort of appeal, that sort of esport appeal, where you feel like you're watching an event. It's almost like you're watching gladiator combat or something like that. There is an excitement and a drama to it.
It's akin to Rainbow Six, I suppose, in that kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
I think it's the fact every match is going to be different.
Yeah. Same setup, different match, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Well done, Blunder.
Well done, all.
Well done, all. Now we very kindly get invited along to a wee press conference as part of the kind of E3 build-up today, and I managed to sneak in. Unfortunately, the boys couldn't make it as they are properly working people, and I'm just kicking about the house with a Wayne. But it's Koch Media invited us along. Koch Media, if you don't know, are kind of they're very linked to Saber Interactive, and essentially they kind of gobble up studios a wee bit, and I've kind of got a real kind of arsenal of studios in their in their arsenal, funnily enough. And they were doing a big reveal today that they'd brought us along to. And you know, normally I would have thrown it in as a cozy crumb and kind of picked at it like a kind of chicken carcass, as it were. But it was so hot off the press for the podcast starting, I thought it would be good to cover it. Literally, the embargo for it was 8 o'clock. Jeff Keighley on his Summerfest, basically 5 minutes before the podcast, did the world reveal of it. So I thought because we were so close to it, it was worth kind of touching on. Basically, Koch Media have announced that they're going to have a premium gaming label called Prime Matter. So Prime Matter is a brand new label, let me tell you. It's going to be based in Munich, and it's going to have 12 new studios joining the Koch Media arsenal. Over the space of 10 countries, all the way from like Brazil to South Korea and things like that. So it's there's a lot happening. And basically, this press conference, they covered 12 new games that they were kind of flagshipping. And I'm going to touch on them all. I'll just kind of give you very briefly the idea that they gave us, and hopefully this will work. So the first game they spoke about, that I've never played, I don't know if you've ever played this, gentlemen, is Payday 3 is getting done.
Payday, I've never tried it.
I think I downloaded like a demo or a beta of one of the early Paydays, maybe Payday 2.
Right.
So I played a tiny little bit of it. I've always quite fancied playing the Payday games. I kind of thought, particularly you and I, Paul, would probably quite like them.
Mm-hmm. The way they set it up was very nice in that kind of co-op heist world. And so I can't really speak for Payday 2 and Payday 1, but in Payday 3 it's going to be set in Hollywood, and it's going to be an open world heist game, essentially, where you can team up with your co-ops and rob banks, I presume, and other things. It's slated for 2023, that one. And Starbreeze are behind it, who I believe did the other ones as well. Nice. I'm literally just going to bounce from game to game here, unless there's something major to say. The next game they talked about was Crossfire Legion, which is a modern RTS, and they were explicit about the modern section of that. So I don't know if that means it's got new things involved. That's coming from Blackbird Interactive along with Smilegate, who I think are in Korea, or China. It's going to have a full single player campaign, as well as your kind of classic multiplayer experience. That's coming out in 2022. You're an RTS fan, aren't you, Colin? You're like a wee RTS.
I did grow up playing Age of Empires and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I mean that kind of appeals to me. It'd be interesting to see what the moderns, what that means. I mean, it's quite the whole RTS genre is a very much a sort of, if it's not broke, don't fix it sort of genre. There's very much that, the graphics have got better over the years, but actually not an awful lot of the sort of interface and the way you actually play those games has greatly changed.
Yeah. I think the main kind of catch with this is the IP. I think Crossfire is a big IP, which I don't know at all, I have to say. But moving on, a game that a lot has been said about already is King's Bounty 2. Come on, there you go. It's they were talking about how King's Bounty was such a big release, and how that started out as an indie game and it kind of gained traction and all that, and they were adamant that this is no longer an indie game. This is a AAA game from Prime Matter, and they are flagging this as their game of the year. This is their flagship game. And that's coming out on August 24th, 2021. That's a kind of turn-based thing.
So this year then?
Yeah, this year. They've advertised it quite a lot already. There wasn't anything really new to see other than this is their flagship game, essentially. Next up was, now Colin, this might interest you. This was the Lost Oricru, I think it's called. The Lost Oricru. This is from Gold Knight Studio. It's an action RPG, and the main thing that grabbed me about this, it was a bit kind of Kingdom Come Deliverance-y. I don't know if there's people from that involved in this. There certainly seemed that kind of same flavour. But the big thing is it's all about choices in the game. So they gave you a couple of examples, and it was like these people had asked you to not mention an item to the Queen who was coming to visit, and when the Queen comes to visit, you get the choice to tell her about it or not tell her about it, and they showed the kind of two paths of what would happen. And they were quite different. Now, obviously, it must be pocketed. It must be kind of all kind of encased in a wee section rather than it altering a big story in a way. But it seemed to be that they were hammering home that this is a constant thing throughout the game, as these choices will impact not only your story but also the weight of the war that's going on and things like that.
Seems a bit Dragon Age-y sort of.
Right, okay, aye.
Yeah.
But I have to say that screenshot makes it look more Dark Souls-y, I would say. But
it's not the best screenshot for it. A lot of the footage they were showing was kind of alpha and pre-alpha. So a lot of it was kind of roughish looking. So the screenshots are obviously what they've polished up. But I know it was very much kind of Kingdom Come Deliverance in a kind of sci-fi medievally way. So it wasn't medieval, but it was it was like there was like talking rats and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Rat people.
Ah, yes, those talking rats from the medieval times.
But that kind of idea, do you know? But one of the big things about that was it's going to have co-op. The whole story is going to have co-op, and it's local co-op only, I think. So you can sit with someone and you can play the same. You can play through your story, and they can jump in whenever they want and jump out. It doesn't need to be a whole game, which is quite keen. It looks quite good.
Local co-op,
split screen, baby.
Couch co-op.
Couch co-op, yeah.
Hell.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And I think that's all. It's not an online co-op as far as we're told.
That's cool.
The next up was Encased. Now, this was they just kind of touched on this very briefly. This is by Dark Crystal Games. It's a top-down isometric. It's going to be PC only, and it's coming out in September. They mentioned a name that I can't remember. It was somebody who is the kind of godfather of the isometric games. Said this looks like a great game, and they were kind of flagging that up as if, hey, look at us. Now, another game that I think both of you guys might be really excited about is called Gungrave. Gungrave Gore. Now, again, they were speaking as if this is already an established IP.
I have heard of Gungrave.
I've heard of Gungrave.
Yeah, there you go. And this is a new iteration of it. But they showed it must have been 15 seconds, if that, maybe 20 seconds long trailer. And it was bonkers. I'll paint the picture for you. I wish I could show it, but what it was, it might be available now that Jeff Keighley's kind of shown his stuff. But basically, it's a group of guys with guns walking about a kind of docks, and there's something in the sky coming towards them, and they're kind of trying to work out what it is. And as it gets closer, they start to get more and more worried, and you see that it's a coffin with big spikes, kind of like almost like a comet coming down. Right. And it lands on a person on the dock, so it impales a person on the dock, and the wee doors flip open, and this Gungrave character comes out, flipping out kind of thing, and he flips over one of the goons, and as he does so, he uses one of their heads to propel himself over, but as he does so, he also turns his head. So the guy's now looking backwards, and Gungrave lands in the kind of superhero pose with his back to everybody, and the guy whose head's on backwards just his body starts to flail and shoots his pals and all that, and then everyone grabs their guns and it's a big battle and things. But it was the tone of it was, I think, right up your street.
It's absolutely awesome. I'd love that. I the fact that game's called Gore just appeals to me, and I just want more games. I want gore. I want games called, like, I don't know, Vomit. I want a game called Blood and Snotters. I just want...
Brutal. A game that was right up your...
It's based in an anime from the early noughties.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That might be why I know it.
The next game was... Put me in mind of you, Blunderboy. It was called the Chant, and it's by Brass Token. There's no assets of it. It's very early in development, but it's a psychological horror, a third-person action psychological. It kind of reminded me a wee bit in the Medium, the stuff they were showing, that kind of thing. Right. But it's coming out in 2022, quarter 2, 2022, and it seems to be that it's a kind of psychological horror, and you craft weapons by magic. in a very kind of grounded way.
That's a blunder game.
That was interesting.
So, Q2 22, yeah.
Mhm,
so
yeah.
this time next year, then.
Yeah, basically about a year away.
Nice.
And they had very little to show of it, but they were kind of speaking of, the team was made up of a lot of AAA gamers, a lot of indie gamers, and a lot of people from the motion picture business. So they were definitely leaning on it being a very cinematic experience, I think. But the Koch Media guys who were leading it were raving about it, saying that this is going to be terrifying. So they must know more than we do.
I do like to be terrified.
Nope. Next up was Final Form. Now again, this harked back to kind of Returnal type thing, where you're a humanoid being and you go and fight, and then you die and you come back again in your next form and all that. And it definitely kind of Rogue looked at it. There was no mention of Rogue, but it that kind of feel. It's a first person shooter, still released to be TBC. It's going to be single player and multiplayer co-op. It's from Raycon Games, and they showed very little of it basically, but it looked a wee bit kind of Destiny-ish, but it looks like it might have that kind of Rogue element to it. Next up was Dolmen. They showed quite a lot of this. This is coming out in 2022. A lot of the chat was that it was getting compared to what Mass Effect Andromeda should have been like. I can't speak for that. I don't know Mass Effect Andromeda really, and I know a lot of people like Mass Effect Andromeda now, but there was that sense it was going to be. It was described as a Lovecraftian Geiger-esque design, which stood up to a wee bit, kind of spidery, alien-y, third-person action RPG, and it's from Massive Work Studio, and that's Dolmen.
So
they showed quite a lot of it.
Mass Effect is about.
I think it was the look of it. The look of it was quite massive. The camera angle and things like that.
And that character looks a bit Mass Effect-y, I suppose.
Dead Space was mentioned as well. It looked a wee bit kind of Dead Space.
Dead Space more than Mass Effect. The Geiger-esque, that idea is very Dead Spacey, but I never see that's what looks what Mass Effect should have been. It's a
strange title.
Dolmen. It's a Dolmen. Dolmen.
Dolmen. It sounds like a shoe shop. Was it Deichmann?
It's just getting your unemployment benefit, just standing in line.
could be quite interesting. It'll be interesting to see if that game's name changes before then and now, because that name's odd at the moment. I don't know. There might be a reason for it. It might make sense. I mean, lots of folk. Well, actually, I know lots of folk that still hate the name Returnal, but
aye,
I quite like it.
We're almost through them, guys. There's a couple more, and the last two that they showed was probably the best two, I thought. Certainly more up my street from what they'd shown. The first one they showed, again, very little. It was a kind of cinematic, and that was about it. It's one called Echoes of the End.
Ooh,
and this really caught my eye, because even though it wasn't, the stuff they showed us wasn't, but you could tell that the game would be, this is an Unreal 5. So this is PC and current gen. So this is your PS5 and Xbox Series X. And it looked very good. It was still an Unreal 4. They hadn't converted it in and upscaled it and all that jazz, but you just got a sense of it being a higher quality of graphic, as it were.
Those character models look really good.
Yes, and it was a wee cinematic, as I said, so it was very good, very good. It's from a Icelandic studio called Murkur Games. That's my best attempt. It's action adventure in a fantasy world. Had a kind of Game of Thronesy type feel to it.
It looks very Game of Thrones.
A bit more fantastical, but still.
That character looks a bit like Miss Sandy almost, it's that sort of costume.
She looks like either a rogue or a maid.
The sort of costume style, and I mean, even down to that sort of medallion that guy appears to be wearing, that does feel very Game of Thrones. And I just by looking at that, I'm already like, I want to play that.
Definitely caught my eye. Definitely caught my eye. As I said, there was no gameplays, and they don't even know when it's coming out yet, so it could be a wee while away. But yeah, that definitely caught my eye. Another one that caught my eye was Scars Above, which was really difficult to pinpoint what it was like. It's by Madhead Studio. It's a third-person horror shooter, they've described it as. It's very sci-fi action. It's coming in 2022, and it's single-player only. And someone in the chat said it was a bit like Lara Croft in space, and I could see that. That was probably the closest thing that I could see to it. Definitely that kind of, it was very much Returnal style of kind of action. Same kind of camera angle, that kind of motion, boss fights. It was a wee bit like that, but again, it looked like it had puzzles as well. So it caught my eye. That picture doesn't do it any justice. There was footage of it that looked. That's funny because when they first showed it, I thought it just looks like everything else. That kind of style looks everything else. But the more I watched it, the more I got into it, and the more I quite fancied it. And that was Scars Above.
Nice.
There's only one other game which they showed nothing of other than an image that they didn't give us an asset for, so I don't know if it's public by that point. Is Painkiller. Now, I don't know Painkiller, but it seems to be like one of those moments, and one more thing. Painkiller's getting a new game, and it is Saber Interactive's making it. It was literally a kind of gothic screenshot is all we got. But the chat lit up a wee bit. But I don't know it. Painkiller, Magic Die, yeah.
Painkiller.
First shooter video game from 2004.
Okay.
Is the first one.
So
I think I've played Painkiller.
Well,
Emphasis on killing large numbers of monsters as a concept of game.
Right.
Yeah, Painkiller. So it's a bit like he's like the Punisher, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I have played that game.
So that was it. I mean, it was nice to be invited to the party. It was really quite good.
Nice.
And they flew through it fairly quickly. There wasn't much to show, to be honest. It was all very pre-alpha stuff, or very polished small section. But Prime Matter as a label, they seem to be very much. I liked the ethos behind it. They kept hammering home the ethos, and Prime Matter apparently does mean that it's not going to be the same thing. That's what it literally means, is it can't stay the same thing. It's got to change, and that was the point.
It's not like Codemasters or something where all they do is sort of racing games or something.
Exactly.
Like it's going to be. That's great. That's really cool from Koch Media as well. They've been very good friends to the Nearly Men over the I don't know how long now, Paolo. 3-4 years we've known the team over there. And I'm really excited as they sort of continue their takeover of the world.
Indeed, and I think that's why Prime Matter suits them, is because they are gobbling up these studios, and it's a kind of blanket label. I mean, not everything they do is going to be under this label. This is their kind of premium label. So this is where Kingdom Come Deliverance would come from and things like that. But no, I mean, they're nice guys, and I was so happy because the CEO at the start did an introduction, and he mentioned the name. He said Koch Media. For 4 years we've been wondering, is it Koch Media, is it Koch Media, what is it? Even the Koch Media guys were like, we don't really know. People call it different things.
So you heard it right from the horse's mouth. The
CEO called it Koch Media, so it is now Koch Media forevermore. So that was a good wee show. What time is it? Do you know what? I'm going to go on to mention very quickly that Uncle Jeff Keighley is doing the Summer Game Fest. He's probably finished now. You probably all watched Elden Ring by now. But he mentioned there's going to be a Death Stranding director's cut. It was a nice wee cinematic involving a cardboard box for any Metal Gear Solid fans. And Jurassic Park Evolution 2 has been announced by Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, did he go into his start thing?
I did see Jeff Goldblum turn up, and it's like, I was watching it with no sound on, and it was while I was doing 100 different things. I'm like, there's Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. But listen, that took an age. Thank you for listening. I just thought it was nice to kind of touch on them after being invited along.
Absolutely.
And as we say, Koch Media have been good guys to us. What am I looking at? I'm looking for games, not Games with Gold. I'm looking for Game Pass. Is that Game Pass, right? Game Pass. Let me tell you, it's coming for Game Pass, boys. On the 3rd of June, we got The Wild at Heart on cloud, and For Honor on console and cloud, which I downloaded on PS5 recently. On the 8th of June, we got Backbone on the PC. Today, the 10th, Darkest Dungeon comes to console, PC, and cloud. On the 22nd, Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. And on the 24th, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. Let me tell you about the games of gold. We have got the 1st to the 30th of June, you get King's Bird. 1st to the 15th of June, you get Neo Geo Battle Coliseum. On the 16th of June to the 30th of June, you get Injustice Gods Amongst Us. Or Among Us, sorry. 16th of June to 15th July, you're getting Shadows Awakening RPG. PS Plus side of town. I always like when Colin says that. On the PS Plus side of town. For June, you're getting Operation Tango, which is a co-op adventure, which is really interesting because both players don't have to have it. Only one person needs to have it, and then and it's cross-platform as well. So if we've got it on PS5, you can play with a friend on Xbox who doesn't own it, which is very interesting.
That's cool.
You just get the Friends Pass version of the game, I think it is. You're also getting Virtuous Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown on PS4 and Star Wars Squadrons on PS4 and PSVR. And that is your subbies. Subbies. Right, I've spoken enough. Right, I've spoken enough. It was multiplayer week last week and we played Knockout City. Somebody take it away. How was it?
Better than expected.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I thought because blundered you. So I wasn't sure about it when I first saw this game. I kind of thought it might be all right, but it'll be like Fall Guys or something. I'll have one or two good streams off it where I play with folk and have a lot of fun, and I'll never touch it again. And I don't know. I think Blunder sort of assumed it would be even less than that.
Oh, yeah. But, I remember when we saw the review thing, and I was like, what? Dodgeball. But I was like, I don't like sports games enough, and dodgeball's barely a sport. I was like, oh.
So with that in mind, what did you think?
I enjoyed it. I thought
I picked the wrong time. Blood took a big drink of his carbonated beverage at that moment.
It was great fun. I like these kind of games. I like them to pick up and play for a wee bit, and it's a perfect kind of Nearly Men night. And we got the community in, who was playing.
And then we absolutely smoked them.
We did. We smacked them.
They were getting better by the end.
We finally found the game the Nearly Men are good at. We absolutely battered them.
We weren't the Nearly Men for one night only.
We did lose. We did end up one match in the end out of, I don't know, maybe 10 matches or something.
10,000, I think it was. It was 10,000 matches. Who was playing with us? It was Colmac42. Subtle Straff was playing.
Dancing Toaster.
Diet Punk.
Yuzi came in near the end. Was Yuzi playing?
No, don't think Yuzi was playing.
Was it you just talk about it?
I think so.
That was it, wasn't it? Because it's 3 versus 3, and it was Subtle, Colin, and Dancing Toaster, and then Subtle's internet broke, didn't it? And Diet Punk came in.
Yeah,
lovely. It was lovely to play with the community. I love that.
So we were all playing it on Game Pass on Xbox Series S, and it runs like a dream, doesn't it?
I was on PS5.
Oh, you were on PS5.
I was on PS5.
Us too. Me and Blunder were both on Xbox. So there you go. Crossplay works absolutely fine on it, and it really does run beautifully. I'd actually quite like to see if there was any major difference in the look of the game between them. It doesn't. What I'm seeing at the moment certainly doesn't look that different.
Well, bear in mind, you two guys are streaming into me, and
that's true.
I'm on my capture card, if you know what I mean. So mine's will look sharper, actually. But no, I mean, I've played it on both. I've played it on Xbox and PS5, and to be honest, I don't know if I noticed a difference.
I was really very pleasantly surprised with it. I thought it was fun. It's got that sort of kind of pick up and play appeal to it, but at the same time there's a real knack to it, and there is enough sort of various moves and sort of things to do, and you do have to really think about things as you're playing. That it's not you get the hang of the game quite quickly, but I think it would take quite a while to get very good at it. I had a lot of fun playing, and I'm really enjoying these kind of games where we get to play with the community as well, because it is a lot of fun. And it was just perfect for that. So we'll no doubt be playing it again at some point.
Nice. Blunder Boy, you've been a busy boy though. What have you been playing, Blunder Boy?
So I'm in a hiatus from streaming just now. Just because I'm too tired. When I'm tired, I'm grumpy. And grumpy's not fun. But I'll be back from a summer schedule. Hopefully, get back to doing my evenings next week, the week after, and then switch to some daytimes in July.
Nice.
But tiding me over, I managed to snatch a total deal on the PlayStation sale. They were doing Mortal Kombat Ultimate Edition, which is Mortal Kombat 11, with every DLC sold. Injustice 2 Ultimate Edition, which is Injustice 2, and all DLC sold for £35 for both of them together.
Ooh.
So I bought that because I've played both before, but I was dead interested in the Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath DLC, which continues the story. So I played that through that in like a night. The story was really good. Let me tell you, I was gasping. I was like totally shocked, gasping playing it. Like the story had me actually going, ah! And like texting people. And it's weird when you're playing a fighting game for the story, but the story in the Mortal Kombat series has been really good the past 3 games. They did it really well. And all the new fighters is fun, and I'm just going through unlocking all the fatalities and the friendships and the what's the other one? Brutalities and stuff, and some of them make me laugh so much. Like, I think I'm going to stream a day of just doing all the fatalities because they are hilarious, some of them.
Do they still do like the X-ray thing and all that, where you see all the bones break?
I assume
No, they don't have the X-ray, but they have. Oh no, they do actually. It's not as X-rayish, I think, but as certain moves, it kind of goes to like the ribs. You see the ribs cracking off your head through a spike. You see it going through, and it's just ridiculous fun. And the fatalities just crack me up, and the friendships are really cute.
What's a friendship? Is that like?
So
is that
when
what it sounds like?
When it goes finish him, you do a different input, and then they'll do something different. It's like Sonya Blade and Cassie Cage, Sonya Blade and Johnny Cage's daughter. Like she gets her phone and takes selfies, and does he love her? And it goes friendship, and it's like Johnny Cage's does a wee tap routine. It gets a hat and a tap routine. It's so funny. And then you can do ones where I don't remember what it's called. You need to do 10 of them to unlock something in the crypt. But it basically gives them their life back, and you get to rematch to the end, and then you can like do a super move to like kill them, a brutality to kill them in one hit, and you're like, oh. Like I made Cassie Cage rip her mum's head off by accident. I was like, I didn't mean to do that.
By accident.
Whoopsie.
I wonder if they've got babalities. Remember them, where they used to turn you into a baby?
Yeah, the babalities aren't back, but
no, they added those in I think it was Mortal Kombat 3.
Yeah. Oh. But they added the friendships, and I think it was the friendships they added in with the Aftermath DLC to give people something to come back for and look for them. So I might just do a stream on easy mode because I'm awful at the game. On easy mode, just unlocking all the fatalities and friendships so we can laugh at them.
Nice.
So, lots of fun. Highly recommend it. If it goes in sale again, pick it up. I've also got back to Persona 5, the Royal, because I need to finish that. In the past week, I've put about 15 hours in, and I'm still nowhere near the end. And I'm enjoying it, but oh my gosh, it's so story heavy.
15 hours? That's only what, 468 to go or something?
Right. I think maybe so. When I started the back, I think I was in like 49 hours, and I'm up to 68. So it's probably more than 15 hours, maybe 20. And the interesting thing is, because it's the Royal version, all the new stuff comes at the end, so it's gonna take longer because we're getting all the new stuff, which is good now because I'm like, woo, but I'm like, oh, can I shut up and stop talking? I'm just like, I'm just hitting X because I'm reading it faster than their voice accent. I'm like, yep. But it's a very well done game. It's very good. And last night I just had to be shot a Biomutant, went back to that and kind of ran around and discovered all the more side quests and played with the Wong Fu, I think it's called. And it's a lovely game. I still say wait for a sale. It's a wee bit, it's got that repetitive open world syndrome, but it is cute. The story is nice. The combat feels real fun now. I'm getting a bit used to it. And fighting the big giant guys is fun, but that's it. Just those 3 games kind of been trucking me along.
Nice. Colin Little, you've been a busy man as well, working away. What have you managed to squeeze in some games?
Yeah, not an awful lot. I've been working an awful lot and traveling a lot, which has been taken out of me. So I've barely been streaming, and of course, I'm only really able to play games when I do stream. At the moment, I Tuesday night there I jumped on the Sea of Thieves briefly, very short stream, but it was to welcome back lovely community member Daybreak, who Daybreak has returned from their voyage
Yay.
around the Mediterranean, essentially. And so Daybreak got in touch, and I was like, well, we got a sale, so I had a lot of
Happy
fun.
days.
Showing Daybreak. Daybreak picked up an Xbox Series S.
Whoa.
So Daybreak was seeing Daybreak was seeing the Sea of Thieves in all its glory for like the first time, because they'd been playing it on potato settings for like forever. So that was really nice. And also on Sunday night, I had a survival Sunday. Remember the community, the lovely Tommy B298 actually sent me a game. He sent me a game and
Ooh,
said,
my.
I think you'd really like this. It's 7 Days to Die, which is a game I'd been sort of like looking at for quite a while. I hadn't had a chance to play, and I have to say, it's good. It is good. It's janky as hell, right? And it's got a rather problematic sort of situation where, as far as I'm aware, some sort of ownership things happened with it between console and PC or something. Anyway, the PC game's been getting upgraded and updated over time and is really coming into its own. And the console game's sort of just been left as it is. So it's very rough around the edges. But it's got this wicked sense of humor. It's super hard, and yeah, I don't know what it is about it, because it is a bit infuriating at points. You're like, oh, the hitboxes are horrific, and you're sort of like clicking on things, and everything you're trying to do isn't necessarily always working. But at the same time, there's just something about it, this je ne sais quoi about it, that just makes me want to go back and play a little bit more. And I'm quite intrigued by it. So huge thank you to Tommy P for that, and it's definitely worth checking out. And yes, I do see Use83 did tell me this, that apparently 7 Days to Die is on Humble Bundle for PC for less than £6 right now.
Oh.
So it's definitely worth checking out. And Blunderboy, actually, thank you, Blunderboy, for sending me a nice gaming keyboard. I got a gaming keyboard
you're welcome.
hand me down, so that is something like that might tempt me. I might go, back to PC gaming. Although I'll be raging if I can't blame my little laptop keyboard for my gaming fails anymore, if I've not got an excuse. So that's a bummer. But that's it. I'm really hoping to. I've got a game to play, hopefully this weekend, which I'm kind of looking forward to get a shot at. I just need more hours in the day so I can get back to playing. But I will be back soon, and I'll be back streaming properly soon as well.
You are allowed to say what game it is, by the way, just in case you were holding back for any reason other than.
Oh, good. Yes.
You are allowed one.
Our lovely, this is us having to put our lovely friends Sony, and we have to say this, they did send us copies of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which we have all got a copy of now, and we are all super looking forward to playing, but we haven't had a chance yet. I believe it's out. Is it out tomorrow?
Out tomorrow, yeah.
It's out tomorrow. I have it installed, and I'm desperately wanting to have a go at it. But that's going to be.
He did say that before we went live. He did say, "Do you think I could get away with playing this while
just
on the
playing
podcast?"
it while we're on the podcast. What I would say about it, let me just jump in here. I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, but a number of the devs have come out talking about Insomniac, and in a good way for once.
I saw that.
They basically came out and said, listen, I just want to share this because it's got like a massive, the Metacritic's like, I don't know, 89 or something like that. It's got a brilliant Metacritic at the moment score. It turns out that the game looks like it's pretty much as good as everyone hoped it would be. It might even be higher than 89. And what the guy also said was, forgive me, I cannot remember his name off the top of my head, but I saw the tweet. I think I've retweeted the tweet. And he said that he is delighted. I just want to share this. Look at how good this is. And he says, I never crunched once on this game. I did 40 hours per week for the entire job on this. There was no crunch, and we could make this great game. So this sort of... and I suppose this is hot off the heels of the God of War announcement, where Cory Barlog and Sony Santa Monica have come out and said that God of War Ragnarok's coming out next year now, mainly because of COVID and all that sort of stuff, that they are putting their developers first. I saw Cory Barlog coming out saying, sort of supporting and respecting the devs is supporting and respecting quality, which is then supporting and respecting gamers as well. So you don't end up with a sort of cyberpunk issue again. So it's just really nice to see that maybe games are changing. We're going to need to see, there are certain big companies out there that have had accusations of crunch for years and years and years. We need to see if they're changing their practices. But there's Insomniac proven, and anything you've seen. I saw a little bit of gameplay of Ratchet and Clank. It looks like a living, breathing, playing Pixar movie. It is one of the most astonishing looking games I have seen. And if they can make a game look that fancy, that brilliant, and no crunch, then you can do it. You can do it. So yeah, really, really cool.
Brilliant. Are you going to stream it?
Very probably, yes. I think I might well be streaming it on Sunday night, I think.
Nice. I've been playing the usual kind of thing. What I will mention is I've been doing my Wreckfest community tournament. The fourth and final week was last week, and I can tell you the top 3 was the beautiful Random Bloke in third place, the wonderful Scruffy in second, and the legend, he's already been mentioned in this podcast already, the legend that is Tommy B298 won it by quite a distance.
Well done.
It was great fun. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Random, to Audentior, Al Nubist, Colmac42, Jamesy42. I'm going to forget somebody. Scruffy, myself, and...
did you get Jamsy?
Tommy, that is us. Tommy, yes.
Tommy.
I was trying to do it by the picture that I have, but so thank you to everybody joining. It was great fun.
So I only managed to catch little bits off it throughout the weeks, but I have to say, what an event it was! It was great, so entertaining, so fun. I love how seriously the community took it.
It was out of order.
I mean, they were all absolutely pissing sweat every match. You could tell they were so angry, so desperate, so into it, but at the same time just playing in a really nice way. It was fabulous. So hopefully, whether it's on our own individual channels or whether it's in with Nearly Men stuff, we will try to do more and more of this, because it's so lovely to see everyone playing together.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's seriously, it's so much fun playing with the community. Shall I tell you about some of the viewers' games?
Please.
Yeah, you will. Let's have a little look-see. Where I've scrolled up by accident here. Tommy B's been in touch, the winner champion of Wreckfest himself. He's been playing Chivalry 2, baby! He's absolutely honking, but it's a lot of fun.
I know, don't. I want that game so bad. I want that game bad. That's my sort of jam.
Daybreak, returning from the seas, says she's loving her new Xbox Series S. So far, she's played Sea of Thieves and Destroy All Humans. Nice. Scruffy was on the Discord. The beautiful Scruffy has been playing Sea of Thieves, Wreckfest, Sniff, his words, Chivalry 2, SnowRunner, Ghost of Tsushima. We started Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm so glad you did.
Oh, yeah.
Says it's all amazing. For E3, saying, I really want to see gameplay for an actual next-gen game on Xbox. Yeah. I hear you, Scruffy. I hear you.
Yeah.
I've been very impressed by Returnal and Ratchet and Clank. Looks shiny AF. How much is the digital PS5 again?
I think it's $369, I believe, something like that.
Do it. Rumour of a September release of Halo has me hyped, but I don't know. Probably November.
If even that.
And I'm no, I don't. Do you know? I hope I'm really proved wrong by Halo. I really do. I really do.
This is a good point from Scruffy, and it's one of the interesting things with Xbox at the moment, and it's with their business model. And don't get me wrong, PlayStation's not got an awful lot of exclusives, but they're starting to get them now. They're starting to get them. Whether it is, well, obviously Ratchet and Clank, and of course Returnal. And there is Demon's Souls as well, but there's also things like Final Fantasy VII Integrate. I know that's not a full game as such, but that is PlayStation exclusive. They are starting to make more PS5 stuff, and whereas the Game Pass model, the sort of subscription model, the whole ethos of how Xbox is going to be interesting, because sooner or later, where does the line go between making a game available everywhere and sort of, or potentially holding things back a little bit, or else sacrificing how playable they're going to be?
Yeah,
it will be interesting to see how quickly they have to then eventually go, this is only going to be available for Xbox, because there's already been discussion about how tricky it is to get games playing great on both the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. There's been a few developers moaning about that, because there is some tricky things for them to deal with that. Try to do that and then also have to do that for Xbox One. And then potentially the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S, for instance, as well. It's tricky. It is tricky, so it will be interesting to see how long they can keep what they're doing going.
Yeah, I will say the Medium is essentially a next-gen exclusive for the Xbox. The Medium
that's true.
Isn't available in the old ones. Just putting it out there, Dan's Toaster was in touch as well. He says he's completed Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2 and now on to 3. Have you done that, Colin?
What a masochist is.
3's my favourite. I love 3.
Oh, this game's
I
I've never played.
110%ed that back in the day.
110%ed? There's no such thing.
Mate.
There's no such thing.
There is a Crash Bandicoot land.
He said no, fair play. And Knockout City was a blast, he says as well. Jamesy42's been in touch as well. He says Wreckfest, though not happy to mention that, though happy to not mention that, he says. He's been playing Man-Eater again, as it's now on Game Pass. Also had a good wee session on Sea of Thieves. And finally, Peggle 2, just to chill out for a bit. Nice. He says, E3, I think there'll be a big game that will come out on Game Pass, which will be very exciting that no one will see coming.
Ooh, that sounds like Jamesy's connected. Has Jamesy been talking about Jeff?
Aye, Uncle Jeff's been in touch with Jamesy. Queen of the North, the 9th place Dead by Daylight tournament lady. She says, I recently got into Stardew Valley, so she's looking forward to that adventure. Whoa.
I got a little bit of Queen of the North stream after mine the other night, and Queen was very much enjoying Stardew Valley. I think it might have been one of our first games off it, but she was really enjoying it.
I'm in danger. Bright22 has been in touch, said played some Forza Horizon 4, beautiful game, Left 4 Dead 2, Xenoblade Chronicles X and Beyond, Two Souls. Is that the one with Elliot Page?
Willem Dafoe and Elliot Page,
yeah.
It's alright.
Yeah.
Elliot Page is great. Willem Dafoe's great. David Cage is not great. And yeah, it's just the problem I have with all those games. I was discussing this a little bit more. I need more to do in those games. I get bored very quickly of, swiveling the analog stick this way and tapping X or Y here, and I just need a lot more to do.
Yeah. Nappuccino's in touch as well. I want to say something different, but alas, it's just Stardew Valley for me. Also, I learned what E3 is. Hey! I predict an apology for Cyberpunk. Not a chance. You'll not get it. Al Nubis has been in touch as well. He says, I have been playing Solasta Crown of the Magister. That's on Game Pass, I believe. Sea of Thieves and Wreckfest. Of course he has. And Jabrai says, I've been playing some Euro Truck 2, SnowRunner, and Horizon 4, as well as some Kingdom Hearts. Oh.
Yay!
For E3, I want someone to stand on a stage with a trailer of a brand new shiny game, then tell us we can download it today. You can go home. Download it now. Do you remember those days? I love that.
Back in the day.
I love that. Thank you for getting in touch, everybody. We love hearing from what you're playing about, what you're playing with, and we love to hear from you. So if you want to get in touch, here's how you do it.
We'd love to hear from you. Find us on Facebook as The Nearly Men, Twitter and Instagram, where we are at Nearly Men, or email info@thenearlymen.com.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Some new releases for you, gentlemen. We have got the Persistence Enhanced on the PS5 coming on the 11th. Black Skylands on PC. Guilty Gear Strive for PC, PS4 and PS5. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, PS5.
Oh, yeah.
That's all on the 11th. On the 17th, you're getting Rogue Book for the PC. On the 18th, Vader Immortal, a Star Wars VR series for PSVR. I thought that came out last year.
That been out already? I've said that the other week. I was like, Paul's not talking about swinging his lightsaber.
Hello.
It's been on the PlayStation Store as like coming soon for quite a while. So I think it's now. I'm quite keen on it, man. Although
I'll take that.
I don't know how much how much gameplay there is. I think it's quite a lot to wonder about. But you like becoming like standing face to face with Darth Vader in VR would be awesome.
Aye, that's enough for me. Super Magbot is coming out for PC Switch on 22nd. Excuse me. Also on the 22nd, Labyrinth City, Pierre the Maze Detective for PC. Dungeons and Dragons.
He seems very niche, the Maze Detective. I mean,
yes.
I mean, how many jobs a year do you think Pierre gets?
Play your skills, mate. Play your skills.
I am here to do some detecting. Is it in a maze? It is not. Farewell.
So we got an hour and 5 minutes through it before Colin would defend someone.
Hello, is this in a maze? It is. Allow me to do my job. Voila.
Just be grateful he's not on camera right now. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance is coming for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X on the 22nd. That's a Game Pass game as well. Ender Lilies Quietus of the Nights is on Switch on the 22nd. On the 24th, Legend of Mana, PC, PS4 and Switch. Rogue Book is coming for PC on the 24th, so that's a doubler. So it's either going to be the 17th or the 24th. You decide. Scarlet Nexus.
I went full on Ron Burgundy for a moment there.
I was like, I've definitely read this already. Scarlet Nexus is coming to everything apart from the Switch on the 25th. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 is coming to the Switch on the 25th. Also, Mario Golf Super Rush is on the 25th. And on the 26th, you're getting Solaris Off-World Combat. That's from the makers of... what's it called? Firepoint? Is that right? The VR game that we play?
Firewall.
Firewall, thank you.
You're getting Firewall and Farpoint mixed up there.
That's what I was doing. Gentlemen, is there anything exciting happening in your streams coming up? I know, Blunderboy, you're kind of coming to the tail end of your hard work and you've got your summer thing ramping up. Anything to shout about at the moment?
No.
Good.
Not much. As I said, all going to plan. I will probably stream some Ratchet and Clank on Sunday night.
Oh,
lovely.
So that'll be a bit of excitement, I guess.
Are you working tomorrow? You're not on tomorrow, are you?
No, I will not be on tomorrow.
Oh, so you're going to stream for like 8 hours to cover all the lack of the element?
Jeez Louise, do you know what I mean?
You have to
No,
put it
no,
on
if
the
lifting.
If anyone's got the strength to do it, then Kaczynski can do it.
I don't know who's got the strength to watch me. I'm streaming tomorrow. I'm on tomorrow at 2. I might. I don't know. I hadn't thought about it. I probably should.
Just launch the. Maybe you should.
I should play that game.
Hello, whether you want to or not, we have decreed that you have to play Ratchet and Clank.
I'm not very good at the games though. But
that's fine.
Thank
we don't
you.
care, mate.
Thank you for watching, everybody. This episode of the podcast to you, episode 89, has been brought to you by executive producer Hamster Boy.
Mr. Executive
Producer. Blunder Boy, have you anything to say before we tip our hat and dance our merry ways?
No, just remember to charge your joypads.
Mr. Little, have you anything to say?
Aye, all you Nearly Men subs out there, you've got some brand new emotes. You get some brand new emotes. How
You
they
do.
made them. Brand
Sexy
new Twitch
ones.
emotes. If all you lovely folks out there want to support the podcast, the easiest way to do it, obviously, is hit that sub button, get some sub emotes, and splatter them all about Twitch. That's what I do. That's what
Beautiful.
I do. We've got a lovely rude one with Blunder's rude face.
Can you say that properly, please?
Rude.
Thank you.
Rude.
There you go.
We have me. We have me going boom, boom, and we of course have Mr. Kaczynski saying nice, but his face isn't he saying nice? His face is like
That's my best looking face. I was
That's
trying
quite
really
a-
hard for that.
that's quite a weird one. That.
And listen, see if you're not on Twitch, see if you're just an audio listener and you're not on Twitch, come on to Twitch, don't be scared of it. It's good
Aye.
fun. It's like YouTube but live. Think of it that way. It's no scary. You don't have to pay money to be on watching us. Come on and watch us. Goodness sake.
And likewise, so yeah, all you listeners out there, you can absolutely come over to Twitch, give us a follow, check us out, see if you can see our faces, you can see us actually moving about, and actually you can sort of interact
We are
with us
real
live.
people.
Because
Yeah.
although we don't actually talk to the chat too much, because we don't want the podcast to become any more derailed than we actually derail ourselves. We are always listening, we're always keeping an eye on it, and it's always lovely to see the chat talking. But also, all you Twitch people, make sure that you go onto the podcast side of town and download the podcast, and subscribe to
Aye.
it either on Apple or on Spotify or wherever you get the podcast, because that all helps as well. And of course, if you're on Apple or Spotify, you can give us a wee review as well.
Aye.
If you'd like that, that all helps. We haven't put the chant out for that for a while, but yes, if you could give us a wee review, drop a wee review, spread the word about the podcast. It all helps to help us grow this community and get our dreadful opinions just that little bit further throughout the world.
Yeah.
Couldn't said it better myself. The next episode of the podcast is episode 90, would you believe? 10 away from the big century. It's going to be 8 p.m. On the 24th of June. Please join us then. Gentlemen, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Adios, amigos. See you next time.